The air in the desert was often still and quiet, broken only by the low murmur of a million voices, the soft shuffle of countless sandals on sand. The children of Israel, having recently escaped the long shadow of Egypt, were learning to walk in freedom. Their journey was not an easy one. The sun was hot. Water was scarce. Their path was uncertain. They were learning day by day to put their trust in the God who had parted the sea for them. But in this vast open wilderness, they were vulnerable. It came without warning, a harsh and sudden storm of aggression. Out of the rocky landscape, the Amalekites appeared. They were not a welcoming party, fierce and warlike, known for their cruelty. They fell upon the rear of the Israelite column, preying on the weakest, the tiredest, the most frail among the people. Fear, cold, sharp, pierced the hearts of the Israelites. They were a people on a pilgrimage, not a trained army ready for a fight. They cried out, looking for a rescuer, the God who had promised to lead them. The attack by Amalek was more than territory. It was an assault on hope. Moses felt the weight of his people's fear. He knew this was a pivotal moment. Would they scatter or stand together and discover the source of their true strength? The time for battle had begun. In response to the crisis, a name rose to the forefront: Joshua, a man of great courage and unwavering faith. Moses turned to him, his voice steady and clear, and gave the command to fight. Choose some of our men and go out to fight the Amalekites. Joshua did not hesitate. He gathered the strongest and bravest men, forming a makeshift army. Not seasoned soldiers with gleaming armor, but men with a determined spirit. Joshua stood before them, ready to lead from the front, to charge into the heart of the conflict. Down in the valley of Rephidim, the battle raged. The clash of bronze, the clash of iron echoed off the rocky hills. Joshua was in the thick of it, his sword flashing in the desert sun. He moved with purpose and strength, encouraging his men, directing their movements, fighting with all his might. Strategic, brave, fully committed to the fight. They gave their absolute best, pushing back the fierce Amalekites with every ounce of human effort. Yet they would soon learn that effort alone was not the deciding factor. Joshua's fight was the visible part, the hands and feet of Israel's defense, faith in action. But as the sun beat down and swords continued to clash, a different power was needed. The most important part of this battle was not happening in the valley at all. While Joshua fought below, Moses climbed to the top of a nearby hill. He was not alone. With him were his brother Aaron and a trusted companion named Hur. He did not carry a sword or a spear. He carried the rod of God, the same simple wooden staff he had used to part the Red Sea, and the instrument through which God had performed mighty miracles in Egypt. It was a symbol of God's authority and power. Moses stood overlooking the chaotic battle and raised the rod high. It was a declaration. This was God's fight. As long as Moses held his hands up, rod lifted toward heaven, Joshua and the army prevailed. They fought with renewed strength and pushed the Amalekites back. The battle was long. Moses was an old man. His arms grew tired and heavy. When he lowered the rod, the tide turned. The Amalekites surged forward. Israel began to lose ground. Aaron and Hur understood their role. They stayed beside their leader. They found a large stone for him to sit on, one on each side. They held up his hands, becoming pillars of support. With his arms held steady until sunset, the rod of God pulsed with a soft divine light. Power seemed to flow down into the army. Joshua's men felt a surge of supernatural strength and drove Amalek back, not by might or by power, but by the Spirit of the Lord, through a leader in prayer and friends who held him up. When the dust of the battle settled and the last of the Amalekites had fled, a quiet gratitude fell over the valley. The Israelites were exhausted but victorious. Moses knew this moment had to be memorialized, a permanent reminder of the lesson learned this day. He did not build a monument to Joshua's bravery or his own intercession. He built a simple stone altar, a place of worship and remembrance dedicated to God. On this altar, Moses inscribed a new name for God, one born from the battle: Jehovah Nissi. In the Hebrew language, these words mean "the Lord is my banner." In ancient times, a banner was a rallying point, identity, loyalty, hope. By calling God his banner, Moses declared that God is our rallying point, our source of hope, and the true leader in every battle. While Joshua fought bravely and Moses prayed faithfully, the victory ultimately belonged to the Lord. The banner of the Lord had been raised over them. Under that banner, they were safe and triumphant. The altar would stand as a silent witness in the wilderness, a testimony for future generations. They would remember, their king is not a man. Their victories do not come from their own hands, but from the Lord of heaven's armies. God does not just watch our struggles from a distance. He is actively involved, our standard and protection. Jehovah Nissi, the Lord is my banner. The story of Israel's battle with Amalek is more than just a historical account. It is a timeless lesson for our own lives, written for us today. Each of us faces battles, some public and seen by all, some quiet and intensely personal: fear, doubt, loneliness, temptation. This story gives us a beautiful and practical blueprint for how to face these fights, not with our own limited strength, but under the banner of the Lord. We are called to be like Joshua, to act with courage and do the work set before us. Faith is not passive. We must engage the struggles of life with diligence and resolve. We must also be like Moses. Our true power comes from a higher source. And like Aaron and Hur, we come alongside the weary and hold them up. We win together as a community of faith. When you feel overwhelmed, remember Jehovah Nissi, the Lord is your banner. Picture his standard of love, grace, and power raised over your life, a sign of hope declaring who you belong to and who fights for you. When we claim God as our banner, we declare that our help, our identity, and our ultimate victory come from him. This is not weakness, but the greatest strength. We cannot win on our own, yet with him we cannot lose. No matter your battle, victory belongs to the Lord. He is your banner. If you are inspired by this video, please like, comment, subscribe, and share to spread faith and hope.